guys, Zoid Bergenstein here, covering the best non-broadcasted matches of this WGLNA season. Today we're looking at a match between the Cunninghams and Hammertime in Round 1 of WGLNA Season 4 Gold League. This match took place on Tuesday, December 9th, so if you want to go back and grab these replays or look at the results ahead of time, feel free to check that out on the WGLNA website. Moving into Round 2 of this match, the Cunninghams have a 1-0 lead over Hammertime. That 1-0 is actually a very big deal though. Getting a win on offense is very, very hard on Himmelsdorf, which is a very defensively sided map. That means that Hammertime really has to pick up a win here. If they don't, I don't think they can survive very far into this match. With no difference in tank compositions, we're instead going to look for a difference in strategy. We saw the Cunninghams push two 5100s down the zero line and open fire on a KV3 and A4. Destroying that KV3 early got them the advantage they needed for early aggression to push onto cap, and then put Hammertime in a situation where they actually had to push into the Cunninghams. If the Cunninghams can do that again, they have a good chance of beating Hammertime again. But if Hammertime can figure out a way to keep those tanks from setting up like they did, then Hammertime should pick up this defensive map, giving them a 1-1 tie. We don't actually see any difference in strategy either. The same number of tanks from Hammertime are looking at that zero line cross. 250s from the Cunninghams are moving down zero line, so we'll see how this plays out differently. I expect to see Nitz in that KV3 play just a bit more passively. If he can stay alive, he can soak up some damage in the actual firefight, which will give Hammertime what they need to win this map. If he doesn't, and he goes down early again, that will give the Cunninghams the advantage they need to possibly win, like I said earlier. While both these teams are getting set up, I'll explain how these shoutcasts are working. I'm actually taking the replay file from the WGLNA site, which you guys have access to as well. All you have to do is go over to that fantasy website and grab it. You can see exactly what I'm seeing, so unfortunately I don't have control over the camera. I'm simply shoutcasting what I'm seeing. So I hope you guys enjoy it. Maybe in the future I'll be able to actually grab a camera and record these like I normally would, but a big thank you to the WGLNA for making these accessible to everyone so we can all enjoy these replays from the rest of the WGLNA Gold League matches. It may not look like a lot is going on right now, but as a player, I can tell you this is some of the most intense moments you're going to see in a match. Both teams are posturing for position, trying to get some sort of advantage. As we saw in the last round, the Cunninghams really want to push those 5100s to the A-line where they can rain down upon their targets. That means they have to find the perfect time to cross them. If one of those 50s gets spotted and shot and tracked, he can be insta-gibbed with that many tanks looked at him. They do actually get Germ across, which is important. I expect to see the Doma go in just a moment. He does, and it looks like he gets across as well. No shots fired on him, so these 50s are set up on that A-line position. With the 50s set up, we can expect to see the Cunninghams do something similar to what they did last round. Commander J is set up on the 8 line instead of on the 3 line, so that's a little bit different, but I do think we're going to see some aggression here with the Cunninghams trying to do something. Keep in mind, this is the new 754 format. That means that we no longer have draws. The attacking team has to push into one of those caps. If they don't and time runs out before they either get a cap or kill off the enemy team, that is a win to the defense. And that's part of why the defense really does have an advantage in this game mode. They can still camp, they can still play defensively, which was a good strategy in the old format, but now that's what they're supposed to do, and the other team has to push into them. And that's why you see so many IS-3s and 50s set up watching that line. They know that the other team has to come there, so as long as they keep their guns pointed there, they can get some damage out as the other team pushes in. With several tanks spotted on each team, what we're seeing both of these teams try and do is take safe shots. IS-3s are going to side scrape. Oh, and Overlord Prime actually gets a shot into a 5100 there, gets a lot of damage into him, which is great. And to continue what I was saying, what Overlord Prime is doing here is he's side scraping, so it's going to be very difficult for a tank to penetrate him, but he's going to be able to take those shots. If he can get lucky and get one of those penetrations like he just did on that 5100, he's going to set his team up with an advantage moving into this. As the defensive team, little bits of damage like that really make a big deal. We do see the Cunningham setting up for a heavy push on that A-line, and I think we're going to see something very soon, just like we did in the last round. Notice as well that the Cunninghams have 2 tanks moving down the 3 line. They're going to try and get uncontested damage in a flank as soon as Hammertime realizes that they have to deal with the tanks moving onto 2 cap. If they can do that successfully, it can be a lot of damage that can set the rest of their team up for success. Another great shot coming from Overlord Prime as he gets his second shot of uncontested damage into comms in that IS-3. He's really set his team up with a fairly large HP advantage that is going to mean a lot. And as we see those tanks moving down the 3 line, they are spotted. We know that the Cunninghams are going to push onto cap. A third shot goes out in Militant. That's 3 shots shots of uncontested damage in the Cunninghams, and they're going to have to do some real magic here on offense as they finally get a shot into Nits in that KV3. Militant of the Cunninghams pushing up to the A4 corner, trying to lock those tanks inside, and it looks like we actually already have a tank dead for the Cunninghams. A. Martin in that IS has been killed by the Roomba in 5100. That could be a huge deal. With only one tank left to flank from the back, all they have to do is continue to get resets, continue to put out a little bit of damage, and they're going to be able to work this advantage and get a win there on defense. We don't see a lot of movement out of these tanks. Hammertime knows that they don't have to do anything crazy. They don't have to throw away their HP. All they have to do is continue to peck away at the HP of the Cunninghams. While that may sound easy, Cunninghams have set up a situation where Hammertime will have to push. With the amount of time left on the board, they may only have to get a couple resets, but they do have to push, so it's very important that they don't give away that damage like I was saying. We do see the 5100 Commander J from the Cunninghams moving back to the 7 line. He's going to try and make sure that he's got plenty of shots at any tank that tries to flank to the 5 line and force every single one of the tanks from Hammertime to push down that AB line into the cap, right where all the guns of the Cunninghams are going to be looking. Tyreme is the IS on cap again. The reason you're going to see an IS on cap is because they want Hammertime to have to push through and waste shots in that IS. Shots that go into the IS mean that the other tier 8 tanks are going to stay alive longer and put more damage out on the other team. And it looks like the push has happened with one shot coming from Militant into an IS-3 already. Militant moving up to that corner, trying to make the other team extend a little bit farther, going to that damage, takes a couple shots. Huge damage going out into Hammertime's 5100 in the A4 corner. While the camera was down underneath the ground, we see Militant does go down. More shots coming out of everybody. Shots going into Big Cheese in that IS-3, trying to put some more damage out on Tyreme. They have got the reset here. Big Cheese goes down in the IS-3, but we have a 3 tank to 1 tank advantage for Hammertime here. Hammertime can continue to get a couple shots of damage out. They know that the Cunninghams will not be able to cap, and they have just a huge lead here with one more tank going down. Only 3 tanks left alive for the Cunninghams now, with only 2 tanks dead on Hammertime. I didn't notice as it was happening, but we have Commander J in the 5100 coming up behind Hammertime, getting out tons of damage. He's already got 2 kills, 1 in the KV3, 1 kill on the 5100 in photo finish. He gets another shot out, and it looks like he is out of shots. He's going to have to back off. Did he do enough? I'm not quite sure. With 2 tanks pushing him, it doesn't look good. The Roomba watching the IS-3 pushing over in this corner, and all Hammertime has to do is survive. They do get Commander J, and that should lock up this round. At this point, Hammertime just needs to not lose. And a great shot from Drynitz coming out in that 5100. He gets the kill with only 1 tank left for the Cunninghams. If it wasn't already over, it's certainly over now. They just need to get that kill or make him wait. They are going to go for that damage and get that kill, and there it is. This match came down to early damage coming out of Hammertime. They're able to get 3 uncontested shots of damage before the Cunninghams were able to get any damage back. That is a very important win for Hammertime in this series. They did lose the first round on defense, but they were able to pick up the second. We'll come back tomorrow. We'll have round 3 of this 1-1 WGLNA Gold Series between the Cunninghams and Hammertime. Again, if you guys are enjoying these, please subscribe on YouTube, follow me on Twitter at ElevateZoid, and let me know which matches you'd like to see, and I'll make them a priority for coming up next. Thank you guys, and tune in tomorrow.